hire movers to pack the junk that you're never gonna open, you're just giving away money.
So then you can just you take your stuff and you move to the new place, and then that's it.
And hopefully the day is wrapped up by 5. Doesn't that sound like a perfect day? Let's talk about moving day. Imagine you're up against the key transfer deadline. You're busy packing the kitchen, and your movers come up to you and tell you, hey, that big entertainment unit, it's not gonna fit through the front door. Oh no, what do? It's time to get out the saw. This is a real world example from a past client of ours. And don't we all have those memorable moving day stories? Hey, I'm Greg.
And I'm Liz.
And we're the Holmes real estate team here at Macdonald Realty, serving home buyers and sellers in Surrey, White Rock, Cloverdale, Langley, and the entire Fraser Valley.
So whether you're a first-time mover or it's your 5th time packing boxes, moving day is a big deal. Let's walk you through what to expect, what happens when things go wrong, and how to make it as smooth as possible.
So what we first want to start talking about is preparation. Before the move, that's key.
Yes, preparation. How about some quick and easy things to let you know? One would be get labels. Label those boxes. Put them on and say what room does it go to? For the kitchen, the primary bedroom, the kids' room, the games room, whatever. Because when you're looking for them later on, if you don't have them labeled, that's a mess. Another thing is have an essentials box when you're moving. Have it ready and access. So you have your toilet paper, paper towels, some garbage bags, a box cutter, things like that. It just helps you just work on that day. And even a change of clothes or just stuff, some snacks and lots of water. Another thing would be decluttering before packing. So I know people like to just let's just throw everything in boxes and go. But the best thing would be if you can declutter as you go through your rooms and then pack it up, because then when you get to your new place, there's less stuff to deal with. It just helps you out.
That's so right, Liz. I mean, that's all that preparation that you're talking about. I mean, there's a period of time when you've sold the home and before you have to move, that's an excellent time to go room by room, find out what you want, what you don't want, what you can donate, what's going to go in the trash, because all you're doing is spending more money. When you hire movers to pack the junk that you're never going to open, you're just giving away money because it's taking them time to load it up, it's taking them time to unload and move and all that whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. And also with those moving boxes, when you're labeling them, don't forget, make sure you label them on different spots of the box too, because when they get stacked, a mover often can't see where a box is supposed to go, and they're not going to necessarily look at all sides. So, in big letters, write, whose room, where it's to go, so you make it quick and easy. Because the last thing you want to do is once the movers go and you find out there's a box downstairs that needs to go upstairs, well, guess who's schlepping it up those stairs now? You are.
That's right, Greg.
So let's talk about hiring movers versus doing it yourself. Okay, there's pros and cons to each. Let's quickly go through some of the pros. Obviously, it's less physical stress when you hire someone to do it themselves. They do all those heavy lifting. They're experienced and efficient. And let me tell you, if you've ever tried to move a couch into an elevator, you quickly realize where that experience comes in, right? Same with the stairs. Getting a bed up the stairs is no easy feat, and if you haven't done it before, it's a terrible time to start. Insured. Movers are often insured. At least you should be using a reputable mover that's insured, so that if there is any damage, there's at least a recourse to get that remedied, right? And time savings. You might think you're really good and fast at it, but if these guys or gals have moved a lot, they are much faster, guaranteed. And timing is a very important and critical component on moving day. When you have, again, a deadline where you need to be out, having someone that can help be fast is a very important part of, I guess, success of that day. Right?
They also figure out the it's like a puzzle in the moving
in the van.
in the van. They know where to put everything to fit so that it utilizes the most space.
That's kind of going on that efficiency again, right? Like if you're doing it yourself and you're throwing stuff in the U-Haul or the rental truck, you might be doing 2 or 3 loads because you're not stacking it and packing it efficiently. But that's their job, right? Just to make sure one load gets it done, right? And yeah, they bring more equipment. If they do find that they're running low on space, they have the means often to call in another truck to make sure that, again, that whole moving day process goes seamless. Now, don't get me wrong, there are cons with hiring movers, right? They are more expensive. They can range from a few $100s to a few $1,000s. There's no doubt about that. Depends on the distance. A lot of folks in our area have to relocate to the island, so there's ferry costs and all that sort of stuff that need to come into. You do have to be willing to let go of some of that control. When you're hiring movers, that's what they do. They do it well, so best to stay out of their way and let them do the thing. So if you're a control freak, you're going to have to get over that fear. And just booking delays, right? Especially at peak season. I'll tell you, the busiest time for movers and moving day is the last day of June. End of June is always the busiest day of the year when it comes to movers, followed closely by end of July, end of August, mid-July, mid-August. Those dates are always very, very busy, so it's often very difficult to secure a mover in advance. And then again, hidden fees, right? There's always the chance that there might be extra costs, things that you don't expect. So again, ask questions when you're booking your mover. And you know, like anything, moving isn't fun. There's always that potential for damage. So even with hired movers, that can, things can happen, right? Hey, and here's a few tips on how to find reputable movers. Really, at the end of the day, it's quite simple. Find out any of your friends who've recently sold, or ask your friends if they know someone who's recently moved. They might be able to say, hey, we had a recent good experience with XYZ company. The Facebook, social media, community groups. That's a great place to ask because you're often getting local movers, someone who's quite familiar with the community. So that's always great. And also you can see who else has kind of given a thumbs up for that. Read the reviews. Really, at the end of the day, the biggest tip is, talk to a few companies and make a sound decision for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing is talking to them, finding out how they work, because you usually can get a good sense of it. I mean, not always, but that would be the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that helps with moving is booking your logistics early. So as soon as you know your moving dates, start working on that. If you're going to be moving into a condo, you might want to look at booking or reserving the elevator, because that can get booked up quickly, and that's kind of an important thing of how you're going to get your things up to your space. So, booking the elevator is one that's really good. Looking to find out about parking permits if you need them, and also I guess another thing would be where's the van or like the moving truck going to be situated, because sometimes they might have to be parking in a spot that maybe isn't ideal, but maybe if you're asking Strata, they might be saying it's okay for like that couple of hours, and just giving them a heads up. And then they're not going to get upset about that. So that would be helpful. And then getting cleaning services or your garbage bin, like finding out if you need to rent something to get rid of your stuff. So or a moving container. Sometimes people, they like to put things into a moving container, get it out of the house, and then they have that, and then they can take that with them to their next destination.
That's right. Liz, moving day is like a logistics puzzle. And one of the things about like planning ahead and planning early is there's always going to be hiccups. So the more you can think, even like on moving day, you're going to get a truck. If you're renting a truck or you're hiring a company, getting cones out onto the street in advance. Talk to the neighbors. Say, hey, we've got a big moving truck come. We need space for them. We want it to be right here in front of our unit. And so find out whose cars are there already and say, hey, do you mind if we put our car there today? Can we swap? We would appreciate it. Hey, maybe a bottle of wine for your neighbor to let them know it's going to be a bit of an inconvenience and we appreciate any help you can give us. Then you can set up cones, maybe some tape or something, just so that it goes smooth, because nothing's worse than finding your moving truck's got to be down the block. And now, again, that's costing you more time and money to deal with it on moving day.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Greg.
Let's talk about what to expect on moving day itself. Well, it starts early. How early? Never early enough, in my opinion. Be ready for when the movers are going to arrive. Now, a lot of times we hear movers often start around 7, 8, 9 a.m. We often hear that it'll take about 3 hours, so it'll take around until noon a lot of times, and then you'll be unpacking on the other end around, 1, 2 in the afternoon, and hopefully the day is wrapped up by 5. Doesn't that sound like a perfect day? Doesn't always go according to plans. Sometimes the movers are late. Sometimes they show up with fewer men than they're supposed to. But you do want to be prepared for when they arrive, right? Get your coffee going in the morning. Be ready, be changed, be ready to go so that at least you're not the one that's kind of slowing it, that the movers can arrive and already have that direction, right? And the role of the seller, when you're moving out, you want to do your final walkthrough. You want to make sure the keys are provided to your realtor, that the home is clean. That's the role. It's not just moving it out, but it's also prepared for the buyer. The role of the buyer is that they're going to come in, they're going to pick up the keys, they're going to do their walkthrough, make sure everything was left there that it was supposed to. They might even check appliances and that sort of thing, that they're satisfied with the level of cleanliness as agreed to in the contract. So that's their role. So each buyer and seller has a different role on what's happening. The one thing to really be aware of is that when there is a deadline for keys to be transferred, you want to stick to that. That is an important timeline that you can't just say, well, actually, we're going to need more time. That's what planning and scheduling comes in. You need to have that anticipated so that maybe you're moving the day out before, getting the cleaning done the night before or the morning of, so that it's a smooth process. And again, snags that can happen. We've already talked about late movers. Weather, especially in BC, it tends to rain from time to time. So a rainy, snowy day certainly slows the moving process. You want to kind of build that in if you're watching the weather. If you are paying attention to the weather in advance, you can do things like maybe get blankets or runners or something for your place, for the new place, just so that it's not going to be all muddy for anybody. That's not fun. And snags, well, those tight timelines. Sometimes when you don't give yourself enough time, you think you can make it work, but you just run out of time. Now you've got a buyer that's showing up with a moving van while your moving van is still there. Well, that's never fun, and that's unfortunately a snag that can happen when things start to go sideways.
I just wanted to mention the thing about the weather. So, Greg, you were talking about how, you need to get runners and things like that. But if you have a good mover, and this is something you could ask them before they show up and do the moving day, would be, do they provide, some of them wear those booties and then they can go back and forth. Or they might not wear the booties, they just have their shoes on, but they do already put down the runners and everything to protect the carpets and the flooring ahead of time. So those we've had in the past, and it's really nice to see, then you're not worried about cleaning and things like that. So they do it on both ends, going from your place and then into your new place. So that's a good question to maybe ask the mover when you're booking them. Do you provide that? Is that something you do? And it just helps reduce your anxiety for the day. Okay, so now we're going to talk about common moving day problems and how to handle them.
Yes. The first problem that we often hear is, where's the coffee maker box? Where did that go? And, again, that gets to that point of labeling the essential box, because if you need your morning coffee and it's already packed away, that can be a serious problem on moving days. So that essentials box, that moving day box, have it labeled. put a big piece of like pink paper on it so that everyone in your family knows where that go-to box is if they need it. Another problem is the keys for the new place aren't ready yet. Oh no, what a disaster, because now you also have movers that are hanging around, you're paying for them while you're waiting to go into your new place. So hang tight. That's where your realtor step in, right? If there's a delay, the realtor should be communicating to you in advance. There should be contingencies. They need to work with the other realtor. Obviously, this needs to get solved. That's generally not on the mover or the seller itself. The realtor is there to handle that for you when those rare circumstances pop up.
Yeah, another one that can be a problem is your furniture. So if the furniture is too big, doesn't fit through the door, or when you're going upstairs, sometimes that's an issue. So please try to remember to measure everything ahead of time. But if not, hopefully your movers will help and be patient and work with you on, especially king size beds are usually one of the issues in townhomes and homes that have narrow or like they have stairs that you have to maneuver. And also like sofas and big bookshelves that are stuck together, like you haven't separated them or anything. So those are usually the key things to really measure ahead of time. Let the movers know ahead of time that these are going to be things that need to be brought upstairs or wherever they might go, and just kind of like get that done ahead of time. Missing items or things that get damaged. So sometimes that happens. Like you might be moving something through the stairs and oops, it bangs into the wall and scratches it or dents it up. So things like that happen, and that's why you have insurance for your home. So those are just things to be consider. Your pets. Okay, so animals, they are so... They really feel the pressure of moving day. So if you can, you might want to bring them to a friend's or a family's home the day before. And then once you move to your home, you can pick them up and bring them to the new home. It's just a lot for them, a lot of anxiety. If you have to take them, of course, you're going to bring them with you in your own vehicle. You don't put them in the moving van, but you're going to keep them as calm as possible. Do whatever you think that they need to keep them as happy as possible. Sometimes just leaving them in the backyard, whether it's in a crate or something, while the movers are inside. So then they just are kind of away from the noise and things like that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Liz. You want your pets to be safe at the end of the day. I mean, what a horrible day that would be if a cat got loose and escaped. Now you're running around looking for a cat. That's a terrible moving day story, and I'm sure that exists out there, unfortunately. So again, planning ahead, making sure you either have a crate or somewhere where the kitty cats or dogs or any animals can go for the day, right? It will really lower their stress. They absolutely can feel the stress. They feel it in the lead up. They're like, something's not happening here. There's something not normal. And especially when moving day happens. I mean, movers, they try their best, but I mean, the doors are all open on moving day. There's never a closed door because otherwise it's just slowing things down. So if you have an indoor cat and your doors are open, you're asking for trouble. The cats might not love being in a kennel or a crate for a short period of time, but it's certainly better than the alternative. So it's something that you really want to consider for these furry loved ones of ours, right? Let's talk about tips for making moving day a smooth process. Imagine a smooth moving day. That's crazy. Well, tip number 1, start early. We've already mentioned that. Don't leave everything till the week before as well. So not just start early on moving day, start early on packing, on planning, on calling different people, making sure that you've got the help you need if you're doing it yourself. Who's your friends that are going to help? Make sure they've blocked it in their calendar. Find out if there's extra people. Find out if those friends of yours are going to need a ride. Are they bringing a vehicle? Who has a truck? All of that sort of stuff. Plan well in advance and have contingencies for when moving day comes and someone who has a truck isn't able to, right? Do you have the phone numbers of U-Haul? Do you have a phone number of someone else that might be able to help you on moving day? Pack room by room and clearly label. Hey, have we talked about labeling enough? This sounds like something very deep and passionate to Liz, labeling and organizing, but for moving, that's how you make it a smooth process, right? And you know what? Here's a little tip. Pack a cooler with some food and drinks. You know, your energy gets low throughout the day and people are so focused on moving that they're not thinking about rehydrating. They're not thinking about energizing themselves and their family, but it's really, really an important thing. And if you feel good, your body feels good, it makes moving day a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely helps. Definitely helps. Especially lots of water. And some other things to help you make this a smooth transition would be to have a first night's plan. So, you know, will you be sleeping in that house the first night, or are you going to be somewhere else? You know, do you have the like a inflatable bed or mattress set up, or have it ready to go so that, you know, if you want the kids to sleep there, you know, and then you've got another bed somewhere else, or are you sleeping on the couches, or just checking to find out like what is your plan? Maybe you're already going to have the bed set up already, but just think about that ahead of time. Important documents. So that would be something that, you know, make sure you have that. So know where you have that. Take that with you in your vehicle to get to your new place, and have it, you know, whether it's in a folder or you've got it in your purse or a briefcase. But you know, you just don't want to have the stress of losing that and figuring out, well, where is that right now? And let your real estate team, that's us, help you with your timelines and your coordination, and just we'll help you get through this, as moving is never fun, but we can, you know, ease the burden for you.
That's a great point. We have a moving day checklist, a moving checklist, the next steps checklist, so that people because really, if you just go through a list and check things off, you are making it easier for yourself on moving day. So a good realtor team will likely have something to help you through that process on moving day. And getting back to your documents and stuff, like if you have a small safe or a safe where you have your passport, your birth certificate, the kids' certificates, all that sort of stuff, really, that's something that you want to make sure that you're packing, you're moving yourself. If you just assume that you put it in a box and the movers will move it, and now if something like that gets lost, I can only imagine the frustration and like that will make moving day feel like it goes on forever, because now you're dealing with government agencies to get those documents. So keep some control. Think of what's important that you should pack yourself. A lot of things movers won't touch are things like propane or barbecues and plants often, right? You'll do that yourself. So if you're already moving some stuff yourself, make sure you don't forget about those important documents that Liz mentioned. So I think that's a great point, Liz.
How we help as your realtors. Okay, well, what we can do is before the moving day, we will send you reminders about your timelines and all the important dates. So your completion dates and your move-in dates, your move-out dates. If you're doing if you're selling and buying, if it's just one or the other, we will also just make sure all of those things are smooth. And that just makes your life like feel a lot more easier, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so what we're going to do also is we coordinate the possession times so that it, you know, and the key exchange. So it's nice and smooth for you. A lot of times we try to see if we can get the keys in a little early, which is a nice to have, but not a requirement by the contract. If they say, no, it's got to be at 1 p.m., then that's the time. Mm-hmm. But if there's some leniency or we can get in a couple hours earlier, that's our job on moving day, is to make sure that we can facilitate the keys, because in BC, often it's the realtor to realtor exchange of keys, and then your realtor will make sure that they're able to get you in. I know in other provinces, you pick up keys at the lawyer's office, but that's not how it is here in BC. So we definitely have a role on moving day to make sure that access and timeliness is important on that day. And you know what? We often find that we're not just realtors, we're also counselors, we're your sounding board. When things do go sideways, we're always there to listen and hear your frustrations. Sometimes you just need to get it out to someone, and maybe the movers are your friends, and they are often the point of frustration. So you don't want to complain to them. You can always let us know how you're feeling, and we'll hear you, and we feel for you. So, that's what we try to do.
And as your realtors, the other thing that we do for our clients is that we help reduce one of the things that is something that a lot of us always hate to do, which is cleaning. And so what we do is when you're moving out of your home, we get professional cleaners coming in and clean your home for you. So then you can just you take your stuff and you move to the new place, and then that's it. You don't have to go back and clean the cupboards and the kitchen fridge and the freezer and the bathrooms and all that. So that's something that we help our clients, and it really just helps. It's like one less thing you have to worry about. You leave, you say goodbye to the home and out the door, and then we come in with cleaners and get that all done for you. So
I don't know how many times I've heard clients say how much they appreciate that service. So it's something that we're really proud and happy to do. Okay, let's get to this, Liz. Let's wrap this up, and let's give our final tips here.
Okay.
Our must-do tips. So let me start. I'll give you my 2 tips.
Okay.
So again, have that essentials box clearly labeled on moving day. We're talking phone chargers, toilet papers, water, medication, snacks, that sort of thing. You'll thank us at 10 p.m. that day when you realize there wasn't enough toilet paper left in the home if you have that in a box. So, and don't forget, tip number 2 for me, don't forget, make sure all your keys, garage door openers, security codes are all handed to your agent so that when you leave, you're gone and you don't drive all the way to your new place only to discover that you've got the garage clicker still in your car, and now you've got to add that to your list. So that's my second tip.
Okay. Something that I would suggest is moving day is a big day. So just remember, take a deep breath. You're going to get through the day. Celebrate the little wins, just knowing that, your kids are looked after, your pets are looked after. And even if it's a long day, it'll be done. So kind of just deal with it. And then you just know once you get a new home, it's all enjoyment and just, you get to relax and move into that new home. So that would be one. And another one is for you not to forget is to keep those important documents with you, or to have them somewhere in your purse or a briefcase that you know where they are. So all your passports and information like that. You don't have that somewhere in a big box in a moving van. Then you have that for quick access.
Yeah, we're a team that helps our clients right through the process from beginning to end, right? We get it. We understand the frustrations that moving day can often bring, and we certainly are there to help guide you and eliminate that stress and make it as smooth as possible. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm Greg.
And I'm Liz.
Thanks for watching.